Mark, where are we?
Danny, I don't know. It looks we're in some kind of cell or something. The
What?
walls are tile blue. There's like oh no, we're chained to the floor, Danny.
The last thing I remember was going to look for the ocean, but somehow we woke up here instead.
Oh no. That's what always happens when you go to look for the ocean. I can't believe you haven't done anything sinful recently, have you? Like jaywalking?
I prefer not to comment on any of this.
Oh, well, sorry you weren't ready to commit to the bit because you've actually been doing
I
awful
would have said that.
things in real
I just don't want to
life.
admit I've been jaywalking. You know, no
Okay.
but.
Okay.
Hello.
Fine.
Ah!
Oh my god!
I want to play a game.
What?
Holy shit.
Mark and Danny, for too long, you've been talking about Pixar movies on your Pixar podcast. Today, you will be talking
I swear,
about
we've been talking just about car shorts this year. I promise you, just car
Our
shorts.
greatest crime.
Today, I challenge you to broaden your horizons past the
Oh my.
ocean and talk about female-directed horror movies.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
what? Those
It's Sarah
exist?
Knauf. Back again
That's right.
for another Femtober this year.
But I don't
Hello,
see her because
everybody.
we're in this trap.
That's right, we're in a saw trap.
Where
I'm
is
playing
she?
I'm playing on a mysterious tape.
It's pretty
I remember,
impressive
did
how
they,
you're
like-
responding to us while you re-record.
I can anticipate all human reactions.
Oh man, this is really cool and sci-fi now. Great. Well, yeah. So, Sarah, we're in Femtober now. We're recording this halfway through Femtober, and then this will go out the weekend before Halloween. How has it been going so far for you?
Well, so this year's been okay. Unfortunately, I had kind of a bad thing happen to me at the beginning of this month, so I'm still playing catch up. But I'm doing the best I can, and so far it's been okay. I've watched all the shorts, and I've watched a few bad movies, but I've yet to watch a good movie, so...
This is a
Oh my
really
gosh.
impressive change in tone from your last part of this recording.
Yeah, I feel like the last time we did have a lot of good discussion about things that new discoveries that were so cool. What's up?
Well, let me look at my list here.
Because I see I was excited about this year's list because you have Titan on here, and then I hear that I think I'm the only one in this chat. Actually, Danny's seen it too.
I like it, but I always
yeah.
call it Titan.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
care about the
It's
British.
French.
It's French.
Yep.
Well,
Well.
so I will say, this year was kind of a challenge for me. I think that on Letterboxd, which is, where the list is compiled, I feel like intersectionality is, not really a thing right now. There's plenty of lists that are, women directors or women-directed horrors, but I feel like kind of what makes Femtober important to me is, having, women of color or trans women or, things like that. And I always try to add these categories of more, more intersectional categories. And it's really, really hard on Letterboxd. So that's kind of a challenge. And then it's you find a list of black women directors and none of them have done horror. So you kind of take what you can get. So there's kind of a few stinkers on here this year. As well as a few big movies that I kind of have been putting off.
Didn't one come out today on October 27th, the day that this episode is definitely being released today?
That is true, assuming that this episode is released today. Yeah, so the
That's a good
namesake.
big question. Oh, wait. That's a big...
What the hell? I mean, we're back. I don't know. So this is also the first episode we've recorded since,
And
we
fell
were
into a
trapped in
saw trap as soon as
for
I
about
came
a
back from my
month.
cruise.
Yeah. So, like, we're ramping back up as we're recording this. But yeah, this will go out on the 27th.
Yeah, so the namesake this year it's Femtober 6, The Bite of 87, which is kind of a niche thing. But it is in reference to Five Nights at Freddy's, which is Blumhouse's latest movie, directed by Emma Tommy. I've seen some of her other movies, most of her other movies. Not really excited about this one for a number of reasons. However, it is obviously like a big release, which is a huge deal.
Inexplicably on Peacock.
It is on Peacock, which is not great, but that's just NBC. That's just Universal. I also think releasing it so close to Halloween is not really the best idea, but
That's what I thought when you just said that. I was surprised that they're not going to wring some more weekends out of that film.
I mean, they're aiming for the big opening weekend.
Yeah.
October's pretty. I mean, I don't know. I think it's gonna do better than Exorcist. So it's like they could have just put it against that, but I don't think they wanted to go against Taylor, which makes sense. And then Scorsese locked in the premium stuff, so it's like, I kind of get it. But
So
I also would agree. I would
when
think it would have been like last week, just so it could have
Yeah.
Halloween too. But
So when you say that you're not as excited about this, is it because you feel like Emma Tommy is selling out, or you're just not a fan of Emma Tommy?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't really have anything to do with her. I think her movies are fine. They're all like very indie sort of movies, and Blumhouse movies are, of course, pretty low budget. I just have a problem with the source material. I think it's for children.
his Babies for Horror movie, like
It
Megan
is-
earlier this year.
Yeah, so there was a female-directed horror movie from Warner Brothers a few years ago. I think 2018. The Banana Splits movie, which was basically Warner Brothers plan for Five Nights at Freddy's, but then they lost the rights, but then they had the rights to the Banana Splits, so they used them. Movie's bad. It's not very good. But I don't know. In theory, I think Five Nights at Freddy's is cool, sort of. It has some cool lore. The animatronics look really, really cool because it's the Henson Company. I just feel like this is just for children. It just doesn't feel
That's
very
what-
scary to
I'll be
me.
real though. That's what weirds me out so much about the Peacock thing, because I had assumed when they announced it was going to Peacock, it was because this movie was going to be rated R. And it's like, we want the kids to be able to watch it at home. Nope, the movie's PG-13. There's no reason for this to be on Peacock.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not really. I mean, I don't know. They really just
They wanna
haven't
push
learned their
Peacock.
lesson.
They wanna
They
just
want to
push
do that. It just they're losing so much money with Peacock.
Well, I see on here as well, you have a film Piggy, and I wondered about that film because it reminded me of the Catherine Breillat film Fat Pig. No, I'm sorry, that's a Neil LaBute play. What the fuck? Fat Girl is what I'm thinking of. I'm
That
so
girl,
sorry.
yes.
Okay, so you see that my brain made that jump, right? First of all, have you watched Piggy? What do you think of it? But second of all, do we all who have seen Fat Girl think that it counts as a horror movie?
I haven't seen Fat Girl. I just know about it, but I see it a lot in most disturbing movie lists. So I would say it probably counts.
Gotcha.
As
But
far
I really
as
Are you only seeing okay, so I just clicked through it. This is only the short film on your list, right? You don't have the...
yes, so I don't have the feature film. I only watch the short. Maybe I'll see the feature film at some point, but yeah, I mean, I guess if we want to dive into this one, it is about
I'm making shit up as we go. So we're in a saw trap, so we weren't able to make an outline for the episode.
Yeah, I guess
so.
not.
Here we are.
Yeah, I mean, it is about Fat Girl. It's the horrors of society, and then it kind of gets into a weird twist where there's a serial killer at the end. So that's kind of why I'm also not really interested in the feature, because it's just more of that. I don't know. I think the movie's very interesting in the sense of like, why is she not targeted by the serial killer? Is it because he's empathetic, or because she's so not unimportant in the world that she's not targeted? And I feel like the feature probably goes into that a little more.
I just see the features on Hulu, which surprised me that it's like so readily available, because I've never heard of this.
It was like a big deal a couple years ago when it came out, or it came out like last year. It had like a release last year. Yeah.
So what on this list did you know going in you wanted to do this year? And were there anything that was like the last thing you added to fill it out?
I assumed Five Nights at Freddy's was definitely on the list at the beginning very quickly.
Yes, that was like the big thing. Other than that, there wasn't like a ton of stuff. Like as far as like categories go, like I definitely wanted to include...
I know I lobbied for one of these that made the list that I haven't watched yet, but I know I saw that it made it.
I probably haven't watched it either.
Well, no, but I told you that I lobbied for Totally Killer to be on the list, and you added it.
Yes, and I didn't want to watch it, but I ended up adding it because the director's a lesbian, so I just said add her to the list. Nice. But yeah, I mean, I definitely wanted like non-studio films because this, the writer's strike is over, but the SAG strike is still going, so I wanted to have non-studio films, and so I chose this asylum version of Sherlock Holmes and then the Palme d'Or winner because I thought it would be funny to have them side by side. Same thing, I wanted to do like a centennial movie for Warner Brothers and Disney. My choices for Disney were very limited. I could have done Ravenous, which I've already watched 2 times, which I would have done, but I wanted to expand my horizons. I could have done Hocus Pocus 2, which is terrible, or Halloween Town 2, which I did watch. Also not very good.
I didn't know Hocus Pocus 2 is directed by a woman.
It is.
Finally. It's about time.
On Disney Plus, yeah.
It's not on Disney Plus?
It is on Disney Plus. It never went to theaters.
Don't you think it's funny how they just re-released Hocus Pocus and did really well for a re-release with no marketing, and yet Hocus Pocus 2 did not get a theatrical release.
But it broke records on streaming.
Yeah, amazing.
You know what else broke records on streaming? Turning Red and Soul and Luca. And I hear Elemental as well. Hear every Pixar movie that comes out breaks records.
Bzz, bzz, I'm buzzing your chains. Bzz. Stop talking about Pixar movies.
What took you 2 years to get Titan on the list?
Part of it was availability. I think the first year that it came out, there was like nowhere to watch it. I also just think it's kind of, I know what it's about, and I feel like in my age, I feel like I'm like not able to watch as extreme things as I used to. So I try to, like, that's why I put like baby stuff, like Halloween Town 2. I just like the fun stuff, and I feel like I like to have fun during October, especially this October. I just want to have fun, and this movie seems like it's not going to be fun to watch, so it got pushed. I really like Raw, which is her first film, or not her first film, but like her first big film. I really liked that one, and people kept saying like, "Oh, this is such an extreme movie," so I'm kind of hoping that Titan is not as bad as people say it is, but we will see.
I don't know. I was watching it earlier and trying to anyway, but having a hard time because I too feel like it's become harder for me to watch gore now. Mm-hmm. And there's not even a whole lot of gore in that movie. It's just like, even like situations like people driving in cars and things like that kind of upsets me. Lately, I've been watching a lot of baseball, and it's funny how I'm just saying that because I feel like this October for me is kind of similar, where I'm like I can't deal with any amount of real stakes right now. I just want something to play in front of me, and sit there and eat a meal and something like that. So,
yeah, I agree. Is there something you want to say, Danny?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was still dead.
Like,
Thought you
No,
killed
you're not
me.
dead. You just got electrocuted.
I have a game
Did
for
I
us to
cut
play.
out?
If you want to play a game.
We could play a game. You
I
didn't
went
cut
on-
out. I'm just... There's a lot of faces happening right now.
I went on Letterboxd and I went to the films directed by women page, okay?
Okay.
And I sorted it by horror and by films I watched. I want to see how long it takes for you to say a movie that I haven't seen while trying to get through the the only 25 movies I've seen that have been directed by women that are horror movies. They're all features.
The movies that you haven't seen?
No, the movies that
so
I
we
have
to name
seen.
25
I have seen.
movies.
I've only seen 25 movies on this list once I sorted by horror. It's pretty sad.
Well,
I think this is more a game for Sarah because I think you're gonna.
horror movie.
I really think Mark's gonna assume like I've seen like something very like obviously I haven't seen.
Yeah, which is why I'll win.
It's a game for Sarah, not for you.
Well, is it... Wait, who gets the points here? Wait a second. First of all, you're in a game because you're in this shitty
I'm
bathroom.
switching it. Now I'm the tape recorder.
Oh shit, Oh, I can't spoil parts of Saw. Anyway.
Who's getting the points here? Is it versus? Is it I'm getting points?
Sarah gets points if you
Okay.
get half the points. So half of 25 is 13, really, because you need to get a majority. You need to get the 13 movies. But if you get one wrong on the way, Mark dies. If you get two wrong, you're dead and game's over.
Okay, well, this is not even how Saw works, but fine.
So we gotta go one. Just give me movies. There's 25 on here. I only need 13. I will say, there are anthology movies on here. There are films that are co-directed by women on here. This is just the films on Letterboxd that are on that list.
Rick Sanchez.
I know,
What?
he kind of does.
I'm the new voice.
I'm Saw.
Well, I do know. I'm gonna say it, but well, I guess I don't want to say it. But I feel like semi-recently, American Psycho was removed. The horror label was removed from.
Are you gonna say it or no?
I'm not going to.
Okay, so you're at 0 points currently because you haven't guessed anything.
I'm just gonna say things that I'm not gonna guess. Okay, well, Titan is definitely one of them.
That's one.
Okay. Movies that you have seen.
I have seen.
Of 25. You've seen 25, is
I've
that
only
correct?
seen 25 of these.
Okay.
That's
Pretty
quite a
bad.
few movies.
I need a lucky 13 for you to win.
Jennifer's Body.
That's two.
Now you're in the same situation we were in last year.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, what does this say about our society that I have to guess what a man has watched?
Yes. So you've said two so far.
The Babadook.
Yes, 3.
Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
4.
I'm trying to think what else we watched in that class.
Have you seen Raw?
Sarah has to guess them, not you.
I don't think that you have seen Raw. I don't think.
I'm surprised you haven't guessed one
Definitely
of them.
not looking at my past lists.
I'm surprised you haven't picked one of these.
Huh.
There's one we definitely saw in that class you haven't guessed yet. I shouldn't be giving hints.
I'm thinking. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies.
That's 5.
5.
5.
I'm thinking.
I'm sorry, I'm looking through the list of films, and I clicked on the movie Clock, and its tagline is, "It's counting down for a reason."
Oh no.
5.
And it's one that we watched in that class?
There are several we've watched in that class you haven't guessed yet.
What the heck? I don't think we watched that many female-directed horror movies in that class. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they were mostly directed by men. What about Carrie remake?
That's 6.
Okay.
6 movies.
Carrie remake.
6 movies. 6.
That is, yes.
6 movies. I should have been writing these down so I don't accidentally have you guessed one twice in a row and I say it's 7, but 6. There's a variety of movies I'm surprised you haven't guessed yet.
I don't know. This is scary.
You gotta guess. You gotta guess. Remember, you get wrong, Mark dies.
Did we watch The Love Witch?
Is that a guess?
You did watch The Love Witch because Danny told me about it.
Is that a guess?
The Love Witch?
That's 7.
I remember watching that in that class.
It's a 7.
This is so scary. I'm sure this is just riveting to listen to, too.
Yeah, this is going to create some great work for me.
Best content ever. I definitely have been podcasting these last few months.
I'll kill myself before this game is over.
Have you seen Twilight?
Is that a formal guess?
Yes.
Mark's dead!
Oh, good. Damn, you should really watch Twilight, Danny. It's great.
Maybe I will, maybe I won't, who knows? But right now, Mark, you're dead, and dead men tell no tales. But when dead women tell tales, we will find out if Sarah gets another one wrong.
Oh, I forgot that then Sarah dies.
Yes. I mean, at this point, I might just take it.
What else do you think happens in Saw, Danny? Like,
you see, Saw. That was my impression of Alan Tudyk in every single Disney movie. Sarah can't electrocute me because it's Disney, not Pixar. Also, I'm the tape recorder now.
I just don't understand. This is tough.
wow.
You still haven't guessed the one I thought you would have guessed immediately from our film class.
It wasn't that one. Surely it was not that one that I... Wait. There was 2 that I didn't like. Well, there's more than 2. The one where she kept eating herself. In My Skin.
Is that a formal guess?
Yes.
8! You're at 8 films.
Okay. Is that the one that you were thinking of?
No.
Oh, no.
It's the one you haven't guessed yet. I'm really surprised wasn't the first thing you guessed. Besides Jennifer's Body, which is a logical first guess.
I already said Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. I already said The Babadook. I don't know what else we watched in that class.
Disappointing.
I guess so.
I can also think of... Well, I don't want to say the exact number, but there are a certain number of films I'm surprised you didn't guess immediately to get rid of a bunch. That's a big hint.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna chance it and say American Psycho, even though I don't think
American Psycho is number 9.
Okay.
Number 9. But that's not what I was actually talking about either. Number 9.
Gosh.
You have 4 more to go, which, if you think about it, I've already said there's a series here of some movies, and one from our film class you never guessed, which should take you to 13 if you're able to guess those.
A series?
Yes.
Is one of them Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare?
That's the one from film class. That's number 10.
But
3
you've
more
seen a
movies to
series
go.
of movies?
Yes. A very popular series of films.
Directed
by women. Yes, all directed by a woman.
I don't know if that exists.
Why don't you get a Ouija board and ask Mark if he can think of a movie series that's directed by a woman?
Well, that's not really how it would work.
Directed by a woman?
He would be on like a videotape that I would put in.
Alright, put him in the videotape.
Or he'd be in a secret note.
Mark, I'll stay character. Please!
Alright, I'll use my phone a friend from the beyond.
Well, phone a friend from the... Oh, hello everybody. In the time that this game has taken, I could have watched all of Face Like a Frog, which is pretty cool so far. Now, what the fuck do you need?
Alright, well...
She needs 3 more movies! And
There are
I
series?
Movies. Aren't you at 9?
No, she's at 10.
Oh my god.
It's a series of movies all directed by women. And it's popular?
And there's
Slumber
three
Party?
movies.
Was that directed by a woman?
That was, but I don't know if he would have seen that.
I didn't even hear what he said.
Yeah. I think it's I'm either thinking of Slumber Party or Sorority something, and those were.
I'm gonna cut in and tell you, Mark is giving you really bad help.
Well, I know. I mean, I know he's wrong.
Well, I came all this way back from the dead. I'm just doing my best here. That's what I got.
Oh gosh. I don't know. I think this might be game over for me.
Well, if you got to guess, it can't be game over until you guess wrong. That's how
Slumber Party Massacre.
That's The Godfather.
And Sarah's dead.
All right.
Here are the female-directed horror movies I've seen that she didn't say. Birth, Rebirth, The Invitation, Boxing Helena, Fear Street Part 1,
Oh yeah.
Fear Street Part 2.
I would not call those
Fear
popular
Street
by
Part
any
3.
means.
Raw, the Candyman remake. A film that Sarah has come on the the Marvel podcast to talk about Berlin Syndrome. The Turning, Holidays, Bird Box, Pathogen, and The Bad Batch.
Oh my gosh.
You're all dead. But it's okay because you already killed me. So now we're in heaven, everyone.
It sounds like you think Saw is like the Jackbox.
All right. I think this is the end. That's what I think it is.
You're supposed to say game over if it's the end.
Game over. You die in the game. You die in real life.
Well,
Great.
I guess sort of.
You can't believe you forgot Boxing Helena. That's a classic.
Well, I did. So
When did you watch Boxing Helena, Danny?
Film school.
but you didn't watch it all. You didn't finish it.
Well, they had it at the David Lynch retrospective, and I had to go to it because the idea of seeing you with an audience was too good to pass up.
Yeah, I had to find it on YouTube with like Portuguese subtitles.
I saw what's her face? The director, Jennifer Lynch. I couldn't remember her first name. Jennifer Lynch. I saw they had her personal copy of the NC-17 cut on 35mm because she was in shock someone asked to show it, which is kind of fair.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
My voice is gone. I should never do that voice again.
Well, that wasn't even really.
I can't imagine being
The
Jigsaw
Jigsaw.
full
that
time.
for a voice that
How does he
wasn't
do that for
even
10
the Saw
movies?
voice.
Well,
Well, he doesn't. He does a voice modulator thing, like they did to Dan Stevens in Beauty and the Beast.
No, I'm
As
pretty
we
sure
were
they did
discussing
that
off mic.
to what's his
Jared Leto.
face? Jared Leto in the Haunted Mansion 2013.
Oh well, I didn't see Haunted Mansion 2013.
no one did.
It's been-
It doesn't exist.
also not directed by a woman.
Yeah. Sarah, are there any of these movies that you would like recommend to someone while high?
Helena.
I like Single Girls looks fun.
Well, I have not. Have I watched any of these movies high? I don't think I've watched any of these high yet. However, let me check my list again.
I will say this, on this list that I gave, I don't consider Bird Box horror. Just gonna say that.
I do. I would say.
Sorry. You're the expert. I shouldn't say like, well, sorry, you are the expert. That sounds.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like Face Like a Frog, Spook Sport. Spook Sport's kind of boring, but Face Like a Frog is a pretty good one.
This is a
This one, Turn of the Century Surgery, is insane. So I would definitely check that out if you're inebriated.
Yeah, that one looked really exciting too. That's a Méliès-ish short where they replace someone's limbs.
It's pretty good. It feels like a play.
It is very
Feels like I'm
cool.
watching a play.
Yeah.
Do we usually have plays where people can have their limbs replaced?
If it's a good play.
What have you been doing outside of like the Femtober movies? Like, what have you been watching to palate cleanse between these?
Funny Lady.
Well, all right. I've just been kind of, I've kind of been wanting to watch like movies that I enjoy. So like, well, not like, and like things that are kind of, I always like to not watch like prequels if it's a sequel, but I did watch Halloween Town because like I'd seen Halloween Town. I did watch that one high. So you can also watch that. But like, you know, my Halloween standards, I have added Ravenous to the rotation. Hocus Pocus every year. I want to watch Bye Bye Man again. Hi. I want to watch a lot of movies. Hi.
Have you seen the Bye Bye Man, Danny?
No, I've seen The Boy.
The Boy would also be really good to watch. Hi. But only the Bye Bye Man is directed by a woman.
I did see a film directed by a woman this weekend. It was very good.
Prove it.
Well, you know
Which
what?
one?
It's a movie that if I told you, Warner Brothers Discovery would sue me.
Oh, did you see the People's Joker?
Yes, I saw The People's Joker, which is
Holy
not
shit.
a horror movie. Although I guess it could be eventually defined as a horror comedy. I guess if it ever gets like actual distribution. But I wouldn't label it as a horror movie. It's clearly, you know, not.
But anyway, Sarah, you were talking about your lineup.
Yeah, this is my podcast, Sarah.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been taking it very easy. It's been kind of a rough month, so I've just been wanting to watch my faves. I definitely want to watch some Scooby-Doo at some point. You know, I've got some favorites. I've got, you know, some fun Halloween movies versus horror movies that I like to indulge in from time to time.
What's new, Scooby-Doo? We're gonna
Based
follow
on-
you. We're gonna solve. Can
Yeah,
we do
that's
Sing
the
Along?
one. Based on like the way the Femtober has gone, do you think that you're at a point where you could do like a watch list based on the best films of Femtober, or do you feel like it would?
If the music box called you up and was like, please program at least 5 Femtober movies for us, would you be able to do it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I think that, they kind of already do that in a way. Even though it's
5
not
would be
labeled. You know what I mean?
pretty easy,
I'm just saying there's plenty of films directed by women on their list this year. But what 5 would you pick if you got to do that?
Only 5?
Yes. I assume Ravenous. That's the only one I feel like is certainly there.
Definitely Ravenous. I would do Dearest Sister, directed by Matty Doe. It's a Lao film. I would do...
I'm going to assume also... I don't mean to like do it for you, but I feel like also you'd put Jennifer's Body on there just because it would make money.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Well, you don't have to. It's your list. You're the curator here. I was just saying that they would probably just play Jennifer's Body anyway as well then, as a 6th one, I feel like. Anyway, go on.
It really depends on if it's like, if I'm trying to make like a cohesive lineup, then I would do things a little bit differently. But if I just want to do like all-timers, let's see, I'm up to 2. I would do Eve's Bayou.
Okay, that makes sense.
I would do... I'm looking. I would do Slumber Party Massacre 2. And I would probably do... I probably would do the Bye Bye Man, honestly.
Would you put these all then, I presume, besides Eve's Bayou as Midnighters? And Eve's Bayou would be like a matinee?
No, I don't think so. I think that Dear Sister it's a very...
I don't know what Dear Sisters is, so that's one I needed to look up. Sorry, go on.
It's, it's solid daytime horror. It's a kind of a paranormal horror. It's like something you would watch in the afternoon. Everything else, I think would be a solid midnight movie.
Nice.
Wait,
I don't know what Dear Sister is.
Is when I look up Dear Sister, it takes me to the SNL short.
What you say?
What's Dear Sister?
Dearest Sister.
Oh, okay.
Now we're all looking at Dear Sister.
Yeah, that's kind of like a psychological horror film. Oh, okay.
It's very good. Matty Doe, I watched all of her films. Dear Sister, Chantilly, and The Long Walk, which The Long Walk got a lot of play on Letterboxd last year. And her husband, who writes all of her movies, is also very active on Letterboxd. So,
Does he give all of her movies 5 out of 5s?
well, they're also technically his movies because he co-writes them.
I know, that's what I mean. Like, does he give his own movies a 5 out of 5 too?
Sometimes he responds to like criticisms. He responds to them pretty well, which is nice. And he liked my review, so
That's always cool when a creative likes your review.
That's cool.
Do you guys remember the time in high school where we had like someone's independent film come and I went on Letterboxd and wrote a very bad review of it and I was the only review on Letterboxd and the guy made a thing. He was like, please don't say this about my movie. Please don't be the only review for my movie and have it be negative.
I don't remember that.
In high school.
When did
I
that
wasn't in
happen?
high school.
Did I say high school? I meant, no, I misspoke. It was in college, like freshman year of college.
Oh, freshman year.
I think I might know what you're talking about, but that just seems really mean. I don't know why you would do that. We all saw that trailer.
Is it something that I would have seen, or did it just
No.
kind of die?
No.
I mean, let's see how many people have it logged on Letterboxd. Or if the guy
Well,
removed it
Can't
from
mention the name, but I am
Not mentioning
curious
the name.
about-
If people don't
I
need
don't
to
remember what it was. I think I remember what it was called. Oh, I remember
Only
what it was
9 people have logged on Letterboxd.
called. Let me look this up.
I have the lowest grade, but also the only ever grades are 5, 2 3s, 2 2s, and then my 1.
Okay, this is not what I was thinking of. I don't think.
1 is pretty mean
It's
for
a bad
a
movie.
film.
Yeah, this guy only ever did one thing, and it was log his own movie as watched, and then also tell me the movie's bad. Is he the one who gave the movie 5 stars? No, he didn't. Okay, good.
I thought this was a completely different movie, so you'll have to tell me what it is later.
Yeah.
Because this one that I just looked is not on Letterboxd.
Anyway,
Yeah, anyways.
So, yeah. So you've got a lot of nice shorts here. Have those been fun to watch?
Yeah,
Or have
I
they
would
sucked?
say so. There was one that I had originally on the list, by Emerald Fennell, who did Promising Young Woman, and I was like, all right, I don't like Promising Young Woman, but I'll watch this short, and it's like been scrubbed from the internet, so I had to find some replacement short.
are you excited for Saltburn?
No.
Okay. Cool.
Well, maybe if I had watched your
Mark,
short, maybe I
Are you
would have
excited
felt
for
better.
Saltburn?
I didn't even know it existed.
Was this movie a horror movie that just came out? I'm looking at its details. I haven't seen it
It's
yet.
about a hot guy in front of a window.
Do you ever like
Dear
cheat
Evan
and let?
Hansen.
I forget. I don't think you do. But do you ever cheat and like put thrillers under horror?
I do,
don't think
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then there's this new one that just came out. I don't know if it actually is scary or not. I should watch it. I've been meaning to see it. Kitty Green's new movie, The Royal Hotel. I've heard good things, but I've never heard. I haven't heard anyone define it as horror. So, but
Yeah,
it is
it
listed as
really-
a thriller.
It depends. I mean, it's partially my own interpretation. It's partially like if I look on a list. Sometimes it's just whatever Letterboxd classifies it as. But for the most part, if it's thriller-ish, then I will accept it.
I'm curious to search this by thriller to see what thrillers are directed by women.
How do you feel about the asylum, Sarah? Because I'm at my
That was a
stage
great
with
line
them.
from the People's Joker, by the way. Oh, wait, you don't count thrillers as horror because Bound is a thriller. And I always ask, where's Bound?
That's not a
Bound is
horror.
not a thriller.
I know, it's fair, yeah. But Bound is a great movie. Sorry, go on.
Bound is a
Ask your
crime
actual
drama.
question.
Oh, I don't know. I really avoid the asylum because I don't know. I'm kind of like they're kind of evil.
I don't know too much about them. I just know like they were a big meme, like when, like Transformers came out. It was like Transmorphers and like that kind of stuff. They do a lot of like religious films. too.
Atlantic Rim?
Sure.
Don't you guys remember Atlantic Rim?
Sure. They do a lot of religious films too, which is like kind of icky to me, but they do have one. So this Sherlock Holmes one is directed by Rachel Lee Goldenberg, who also directed a film for them called Sunday School Musical, which obviously is a parody of High School Musical. But she also directed the Max film Unpregnant, which is like a very good movie. So
Unpregnant is a great title.
it's a good movie. Not a
What's
horror
it about?
It's about
just
two friends who have to go cross country for one of them to get an abortion.
Sarah,
Yes.
if you're ever to do... I'm not saying you should, but... And I'm not saying... This isn't a question to be like, have you ever considered? Because I feel like the answer is going to obviously be no. But if you were told you have to make a Femtober for a different month, what would you do? And by that I
Well,
mean
I've
it can't be about
already-
horror.
I've
Oh, have
already
you
done
done
that.
this? Oh, what was
I
it?
have.
I don't remember this.
I did a 12 days of Christmas horror. Or not horror, but Christmas female-directed movies.
Now I want to look at that list.
Yeah. It was a couple years ago.
So I have to really like dig through here, right?
Maybe I can find it. So there are some horror movies on
Your
here.
favorite movie of the year?
Oh, it wasn't 12, it was 15.
These are good movies directed by women. I like The
holy
Holiday
shit.
and Art for Christmas and The Night Before Christmas. The Night Before Christmas.
I don't think you've ever seen it.
I've seen The Night Before Christmas because I remember because there's a guy in it named Circle and they always go Circle, Circle, and they never make a joke about his name being Circle. They go Circle, Circle.
Okay.
You don't remember this?
No.
This is a big part of The Night Before Christmas.
I think I was drunk when I watched it.
Man, oh man.
Let's read Sarah's review of The Night
this.
Before Christmas. Out loud. On the air.
I gotta check if it was
that-
something embarrassing.
Is
1 star out of 5.
That's not directed by a
Very
woman.
boring. This guy is not hot.
Well,
Let's read my review
Sometimes that's
of The
all
Night
you
Before
need.
Christmas on the air. 2.5 stars. This is just an actual review. It's not as fun as this guy is not hot. Never mind.
anyways.
So, I don't know any of these films in your list of Christmas movies directed by women. Except,
You don't know The Holiday?
I've heard of The Holiday, I've heard of Arthur Christmas, but I haven't, it's not like I've seen any of them and I haven't sought them out.
Do you not
Well, a
know
lot of them
Father-
are like Hallmark and Lifetime movies, but yes.
The Night Before Christmas is a time travel movie about a knight landing in modern day and falling in love on Christmas with a normal person. And Vanessa Hudgens is the normal person on Christmas.
Yes, that is true.
A modern day romance with a medieval twist. That's what I want to know the women who are writing the taglines for all of these, for any movies. I would like to collect those because they bring me great joy.
One thing that went viral earlier this year on the Twitters, or the X's, I guess, was the taglines for Death on the Nile and A Haunting in Venice. Because Death on the Nile is, I'm going to read it and then I'm going to read the Haunting in Venice one, okay? Death on the Nile's tagline is, murder was just the beginning. Then Death on the Nile, Haunting in Venice is, death was only the beginning.
Okay.
So the next one will be, Haunting was only the beginning. It's just going to keep doing this.
I mean, it's fine. I don't think that's as big a deal as people made it out to be. What of these movies have you watched, though, Sarah, of the Halloween list?
Well, as of this recording, I've watched all of the shorts. I've watched Black Christmas 2019.
Last year we got the 57 minutes, by the way. Sorry, go on.
I've watched Halloween Town 2. I've watched a 2023 movie, You're Killing Me. And I've also seen Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, but I have not yet logged it for this year. So I'm very behind, but I will be caught up by the time this episode airs. So, you know what? Which ones have I seen? All of them.
So, what do you think of Black Christmas?
Well,
How does it measure up?
I have a lot of feelings about Black Christmas. I've seen all of them. I'm most familiar with the 2006 one. I think Black Christmas is an interesting experiment. You know, it came after Jason Blum said that no women direct movies, so he couldn't hire them to direct horror movies. He got a lot of backlash for that. And so he hired Sophia Takal to do Black Christmas. And it's terrible. I mean, it's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And the problem is, it's like this. It's like the movie that Reddit warns you about. Like, it's so like, aren't men bad? And like, really, like, they talk about menstruation and they talk about like being woke and stuff. And it's just like, it's so bad. And the problem is that she stood by it this whole time. And that's like good for you, but I mean, the good news I would say is that it was a bomb, so it kind of faded into obscurity. But, you know, it was 2019 and it's been 4 years, and this is the first Blumhouse movie in 4 years that is actually directed by a woman. And I think Candyman, which was also Universal but not Blumhouse, is like the only other one the only other horror movie that's been like mainstream directed by a woman since then. Mm-hmm. So it kind of set us back a little bit, which is not really fair. When women make movies, when POC make movies, when queer people make movies, I feel like people are put up to such a high standard, and I think that we should be allowed to make bad things. We should be allowed to make mediocre things. And I think this is just an example of that.
Did you also feel that way about Candyman?
Yeah, I really didn't like Candyman.
I
love the original Candyman. I think there are definitely layers to it. Obviously, the first Candyman is directed by a white man, so it is kind of from a white woman's perspective. This new one, I feel like it does have kind of that, very it's a very political movie, which is kind of, I hate to make that sound like a dog whistle because it's not, but it feels like it's kind of like what you would expect from a movie about like race. It just doesn't feel very innovative to me, and the message just felt a little muddled to me, and it was just gross. It was just gross to look at.
So, do you talk to other people about your Femtober movies? Like, do you have kindred spirits who can come to you and say like, "Oh no, this was great"? Because I mean, I feel like I agree with you a little too much for some of these.
Well, I'm not really sure what that last part means.
Well, no, I just mean that like that Black Christmas and Candyman being made were kind of like unnecessary, and they were kind of clumsily political,
right?
I guess. So, but I mean, I don't know if you are talking to anyone who's like, no, Candyman is great because it had this focus puller on it, and like I love his work. Or, whoever, that kind of thing,
Yeah, I don't have it's really just like you guys. I don't really have anybody else that I really talk to about it. I'm starting something new this year. I guess I kind of buried the lead with this one, but I am blogging about it this year.
Woo!
So I am on Instagram, I'm on Tumblr. Somebody already told me on Instagram to kill myself. Somebody on Tumblr made fun of me. So, going great so far.
Wow.
But I'm just I'm challenging myself to branch out of just Letterboxd. Because I feel like, I could share it on Letterboxd all day long. If people are going to look at it, they're going to look at it. But I would like to kind of expand the conversation elsewhere.
Are you inspired at all by the woman who directed The Love Witch, his blog?
Well, I haven't looked at her blog. She's also a TERF.
Oh, I'm really far behind then. I read some article of hers a while back. Never mind.
Yeah, I don't. Unfortunately, I don't really look at that. I'm inspired by I've been very into not just women horror, but like, I've been watching all of James Wan's filmography, and I think that's been a really cool thing to kind of see a horror auteur kind of perfect his craft. And I think, just watching more horror in general, you kind of get a sense for what somebody's style is. So yeah, I've just been trying to watch more horror in general. I feel like horror is my top watched every year, but just branching out, watching like The Conjuring, which I never would have wanted to watch, but the more genres that I watch outside of Femtober, the more that I bring into it.
Yeah. I feel like people who haven't seen The Conjuring are very held back by the real life drama with those people, but I feel like The Conjuring is a really good movie if you imagine that everyone in it is fictional,
Well, they basically are. I personally did not love the first Conjuring. I really enjoyed the second one.
Come on. It's okay. It's like, come on. It's a good movie. I love it.
Well, that's
I'm
just
a man.
My opinion.
I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
I really enjoyed the second one. And a part of it was actually, it's interesting. It is connected to a female-directed horror. Because the case that it was based on was made into a mockumentary BBC special called Ghost Watch. which was really, really scary, and it only ever aired once because kids got too scared. But it's just interesting how it kind of translates.
Ghost Watch was too scary?
Yeah, well, it was the actual BBC anchors, and like one of them, who's like this really straight-laced guy, ended up getting possessed in the end. Spoiler alert. And it was really scary for kids, so I wish I could be a fly on the wall for when that happened.
Oh man, I want to watch Ghost Watch now.
It's really good.
What do you think of Ghost Watch, Danny?
I have never watched The Ghost, so.
I'm always interested in those old BBC productions because to my untrained eye, they have that, that TV 80s quality where it was shot on, I guess it was shot on tape or something, and it has this like hyper real thing, and everything looks very like on a set, and just very artificial. So it's interesting to know that something from that time period was scary in a real way.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely dated now, but it, like, you can, as you watch it, you can 100% see why people would think that it was real. Even though at the very beginning it says it's, like, directed by somebody.
Yeah. So, do you have thoughts about next year's Femtober? Or anything you've learned from this year after you said you came in with so many duds and you were having trouble with the intersectionality or lack of it with Letterboxd?
Yeah, I have kind of thought about it.
You should show that movie I told you to put on it this year.
Okay.
Thanks.
Maybe I will. No, I've thought about it. I've thought about what Femtober really means. When I first started it in 2018, it was kind of, I just want to watch movies directed by women. And it wasn't really like, I wasn't really thinking about, women of color or queer women or anything like that. And I think in the future, I think it might be worth kind of expanding out into not just women, but maybe femme people or non-binary people, and just kind of giving a space to that as well.
Mm-hmm. But you don't feel like you've run out?
I mean, I definitely feel like the mainstream ones, I'm running very low. The ones that, went to theaters, which, there's always going to be movies of that year. But, if I wanted to do, like, franchise movies or, like, stuff like that, it's really slim pickings. But there's always going to be foreign, there's always going to be shorts. It's just finding, availability as well. And just, like, things that people have heard of. If it's just a bunch of random stuff, I feel like people aren't really going to care.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know. I think that broadening people's horizons is a big deal. It's like, I don't know. I think
it's like a cheeseburger.
Yeah. But, like,
Thanks.
how, though?
Well, you can always have a burger from McDonald's, right?
Yes.
You can always go to a new restaurant and get a burger.
Yes.
Any restaurant you go to, you can get a burger at.
Yes. Well,
So
not necessarily any restaurant.
You always get. I tell you, look at the kids menu. You get a burger always. Then the burger can go in your mouth, and really, through one dish, you can try so many different places. And that's my story.
Oh, because the cheese is from America, and the burger is from a cow, which might have been grown on the Great Plains of America, and we have a lot of wheat here as well, which made the bun, and tomatoes and lettuce aren't that hard to make, but like who knows where they came from.
Are you gonna watch this Anna Kendrick movie next year?
I don't know. Probably. If she
It's a
directed it,
simple
probably
plan.
not.
She did direct it. That's what I was gonna talk about.
It doesn't seem like it's a horror movie. It seems like, well, I guess, it seems like a true crime movie. I don't know. I don't know. I guess this kind of brings up a topic, too, where I'm not, like, super keen on suggestions. Mostly just because I like to kind of discover
Sure.
You
things.
should watch Barbie.
Well,
Pretty scary.
I'm not going to do that. But yeah, a lot of it is about the discovery. That's kind of my favorite part of every year. It's just, like, finding them. This year was obviously a little discouraging because I felt like I was running out. But next year I could be renewed energy, or I may just want to switch things up. I'm following this template of, other lists on Letterboxd, but I feel like maybe it's time for other criteria.
Maybe it's time for you to explode the universe and watch some television.
I don't
See, that was called reverse psychology there, because I don't want you to do a television list, and you told me you don't take suggestions.
Well, that would just be like Yellowtails, and that's it.
Well, and also, like, aren't women far more prolific in television? And kind of the fun of the Femtober list is that you're like, the women are working in a medium which is traditionally male, and TV is that too. But obviously it might be much easier to find a lot of television directed by women.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. It's actually one of my categories this year is from films from television directors. So. Yeah, I mean, especially something like, like Kathy Yan and Karen Kusama and all these people who made these films, and then they kind of don't have a stepping stone from them, and I feel like they kind of go back to TV. A really, really famous television director, Michelle MacLaren, has only ever done one film. She's allegedly got other movies in the works, but we'll see. But I have her one film on my list this year. There's a lot of like women television directors that are, they're used in discussions about women directors, but they really don't make films. So it is, I do want to see these women, branch out and do these things, but it's so much easier in television, I feel like, to break out.
Why do you think that is, that women who come from television or doing a lot of television and then make a movie don't have that stepping stone?
I think a lot of it is, I think part of it is budget. There's a lot of, I would say too, like, so Blumhouse does a lot of like Amazon films or Hulu films, and they're technically TV, but they're movies. And I think it's just kind of, I guess it sounds kind of reductive, but I just feel like that's where women are kind of relegated to these days. I think that people don't really want to give them that opportunity. I feel like even with like A24 and like Neon is a little bit better, but there's just not the same opportunities for women.
Yeah, that is curious that A24 has not, to my knowledge.
A24 is secretly evil.
Not so secretly.
I mean, sure.
Mark, do you like A24? This is a
don't
trial of
really-
Mark Young.
I don't really
Choose
have
for like
opinions.
It's okay.
I don't really have opinions about a company, except for maybe the Criterion Collection is a company that I think is like mostly fine. Mostly all. I mean, what's wrong with them? Are
Mark,
they canceled?
There is a movie coming out by A24 by a non-binary director that I'm very excited for.
And this is bad news. Why?
It's a horror film called I Saw the
Okay.
TV Glow. I hope you watch it, Sarah.
Okay, well maybe I will, but don't suggest it to me.
Okay.
Because then I'm not going to do that.
We're all going to the World's Fair.
Well, that's partially why I kind of was like, maybe I should expand to non-binary people.
Have you not watched? Oh my gosh, that's a great movie.
I have done my civic duty. I kept commenting on people's Letterboxd lists and being like, actually, this one is not directed by a woman.
I think you did that on mine, maybe. Which is fair and valid.
I believe, and just so everyone knows, I'm pretty sure it's because Jane Schoenbrunn is non-binary.
They are, yes.
Okay, cool.
It wasn't like, get them off of there.
Clarifying what Sarah was doing, commenting on everyone's Letterboxd.
Well, it's just, obviously if the list
Why
specifies.
are the guys who made 65 doing an A24 horror movie? So I'm looking at A24's upcoming horror movies.
But I was just thinking it's strange that A24 hasn't produced a woman. Maybe they haven't produced a woman auteur.
They have made one woman horror movie that Sarah's already talked about on this episode.
On this episode.
No, you guessed it because I've seen it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Black Christmas is.
That's not an A24 movie.
Oh, it's not?
It's a
Oh, that's
Blumhouse.
Blumhouse, that's right.
So you know what I'm talking about, right?
Well, I know
you actually say
they
what
must
it
have
is.
one or two. Fear Street?
Just say it.
Bodies, bodies, bodies.
Oh, yeah. Did they do Saint Maud too, or is that somebody else?
I think they did, but I'm on Letterboxd looking at the produced by A24, and I think that's just distributed in the US by A24. So,
because Saint Maud was totally, they fumbled the bag with that one.
But yes.
Oh, I really need to watch that. I hear it's very good.
Didn't it like constantly kept getting delayed because of COVID?
Yes. And then eventually it did not get a theatrical release at all, which is
it played here, but
a lot of female-directed movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that I went to this other guy's A24 list, it's sorted by horror. There's a lot more horror options here. But again, the only one I see that's directed by a woman is Bodies, 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 and Saint Maud.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and I did just look up to get my mind right and confirm that Get Out was actually released by Blumhouse. So my initial query doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It just kind of seems like it actually to me it seems like there's like a market for a woman horror auteur. You know?
I mean,
we have one. We have one.
Who?
Julia DeCorca now.
Yeah, but I think that she's not really approachable.
I don't know if she's as much as like a media figure.
Neon released one of your favorite movies, Sarah.
One of my favorites?
Yeah. The one that at least Letterboxd always lists as your favorite.
What?
Revenge.
That's not my... That's just my most popular.
Also, they released one female-directed horror movie this year called It Lives Inside. Oh, I know, I lied. That's directed by a man. I apologize.
All right. Well, thank you, Sarah, for being with us so much. I'm always happy to check in with Femtober, and I'm really glad that this is the first episode that we were recording after our little hiatus there. We get to come back with Femtober, so that's very exciting. And thank you for being around. Would you mind, I know that people hear your stuff a lot on this show, and I'm glad for it, but could you please remind people again where they can find stuff?
Yeah, I am on Instagram and Letterboxd. Well, I'm on Instagram SGK29 ESSGEKY29, and I'm on Letterboxd SGK. And Femtober is on Instagram, just Femtober, and then Tumblr is femtober.tumblr.com.
I really shouldn't have done that voice.
I'm a little behind on my blogs as of recording, but I'm sure by the time this episode comes out, there'll be plenty of content to look at.
Yeah, it seems like I'm amazed that actually we didn't talk a whole lot about it. You've really expanded the scope of this, which is very impressive. Thank you. Like, actually, let me ask about the blog real quick. Why are you doing the blog?
Well, so when I was
hate mail.
Yeah, just to get hate mail, actually. No, when I was in college, I had a fairly successful Tumblr blog, and it was a lot of work. It was a lot of gifting. And I do social media and stuff like all day for my job, and like part of me just wanted to like do something creative and focus my energy on like actually like, you know, putting this out into the world instead of just leaving. And I'm only human. I want engagement. I want people to validate me. So I thought about it, and I was like, well, I could do a podcast, but that's a lot of work. I could do a blog. I could do like, you know, reels and stuff like that. So that was kind of where I focused my energy. It's been a little challenging. I hate to be like, well, something bad happened to me, but that is what happened. So
yeah, no, that's no problem.
Yeah, so unfortunately it hasn't gone 100% smoothly, but I'm hoping by next year. And I want to, you know, be consistent as well. It's not just going to be an October thing. Just kind of like sharing, you know, anything that I see that's pertaining to the subject. So
it is. I hope that we can direct traffic that way. And Sarah Knauf, thank you so much for being with us again. Well, thank you for having us in your saw trap.
You're welcome. I hope that you've learned your lesson.
Will I ever get out of here because we're all dead?
Well, I will hand you these 2 saws, and you just use them how you want to, and I will see you later. Maybe. Game over.
I'm going to make saw noises.
All right, cool. Good episode.
We have to say goodbye, Mark. You can't just say good episode. We have to say goodbye.
What? We already did. What do you mean?
Looking for the Ocean is produced by Mark Young and Danny
Oh,
Vincent.
this isn't an episode of Looking for the Ocean.
What? Do you not see the logo above this that everyone's listening to right now?
Oh.
It's bold of you to assume that any of this is gonna stay in.
All right, let me get down here and just try to find this. Can I do this from memory right now? Okay, here we go. All right, this is all right. Looking for the Ocean is produced by Mark Young and Danny Vincent.
We forgot to tell you what we're doing next time. We're reading a book called Creativity Inc. The show is edited by Mark Young.
Oh, and yep, and we'll be there for that. It's a book about the making of the Pixar company, and our original artwork was designed by Sarah Knauf.
I should probably start reading this book. You can follow us on social media at Facebook at Looking for the Ocean, Instagram at Looking for the Ocean Pod, and Twitter. That's a Twitter, not an X. It's a Twitter at Pixar.
In my life, I don't know if it's X yet.
And on our website, lookingfortheocean.pixar.popping.com.
I'm really excited about this book because whenever I get stressed, I buy a lot of like cheap self-help books that business people read on planes, and I feel like I now have a lot of good context for the environment in which this book was written from the little I've read of it already. So you can follow me, Mark, on markyoungperformer.com. It has my socials. I think I'm actually, when this episode comes out next Friday, I'm going to be in a reading and I'll post about that. But it's a big deal thing for me, and it's like a Shakespeare possible play, and I've got a very nice part in that, so I'll post about that soon.
You can follow me, Danny, at Blankness on Letterboxd, where I was just at the Chicago International Film Festival. Saw some good movies, saw some bad movies. That's what Letterboxd is for. Right, Sarah?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Speaking of Sarah, you can listen to my other podcast, The Snub Club, where we talk about the movies that have the most Oscar noms and no wins whatsoever, such as Taxi Driver, which just came out as an episode.
All right, let's get out of this saw trap.